We all want good results in life, in our home, in our work, and in all the contacts with other people. The most important single factor that guarantees good results day in, day out, all the months and years of our lives is a healthy attitude. Attitude is the magic word. Attitude is defined as the position or bearing as indicating action, feeling, or mood. And it is our actions, feelings, or moods that determine the actions, feelings, or moods of others. Our attitude tells the world what we expect in return. If it is cheerful, expect an attitude. It says to everybody with whom we come in contact that we expect the best in our dealings with the world. It is then our attitude towards life that determines life's attitude towards us. Cause and effect. Everything we say or do will cause a corresponding effect. If we're cheerful, glad to be experiencing this miracle of life, others will reflect that good cheer back to us. We are the kind of people others enjoy being around. Earl Nightingale, Lead the Field, get the book. It's a must-have. Welcome to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. We are back, baby, and I am going to hit you in the face today with a lot. So strap in and get ready because we're talking about the most important thing in our business, and that is the discovery process. What is the best solution for the property owners that we are coming in contact with? I want to first lay the foundation here that there are three main factors when a when a property owner is selling their property. Okay, that is speed, convenience, and price. Okay, speed, convenience, and price. In a normal market or a buyer's market, sellers only get two. Guys, we're going to be in this market for a while. I would say for the next few years, this is going to be what we're looking at. All right. This is going to be our reality. It's going to be a normal and kind of little bit seller's market in some areas, little bit buyer's market, but pretty even. It's going to be even Stevens. The scales of, is this a buyer's market, seller's market? It's going to be pretty flat. All right. It's going to be balanced. All right, which is fantastic because balanced markets mean that it's a lot tougher to lose everything. Okay. It also means that we're not going to have explosive incomes. We're going to have to build real pillars in our business, real solid foundations in our business to build off of, which is great. It gives us a great opportunity to be able to do this. But if you look at this, if people want speed and convenience, we give them a cash as is offer. If people want convenience, but they also want price, then we talk about novations. Guys, I'm going to have an expert. We got Richard Wonders coming in today at 11:30, which is in about an hour and a half. And he's going to blow your face off on exactly how to go about doing novations. It's going to be great. All right. And then if they want speed and they want the price, then that's more of a creative offer or listing it on the MLS and getting a retail buyer. It's not convenient, but you can sell quickly and you can get the price that you want typically because it exposes it to everybody. All right. But this is really, really key that we understand. So how do we discover this? Now, guys, this is something that I do in the Rhino Tribe, in the mentorship. So this is going to be heavy. All right. This isn't like child's play stuff. This is going to be like, this isn't 101. This isn't wholesaling, real estate investing 101. This is going to be like master's level stuff here that we're getting into. But I think that you guys can handle it. Do you guys agree? Put it in the chat if you feel like we should go bananas today in the show and just go master's level. All right. Awesome. Here we go. Let me get to the right slide here. Okay. Let's talk about high level philosophy and fundamentals of what we are trying to achieve when we're talking to homeowners. Okay. This is going to be less tactics. This is going to be less, here's the scripts to use. Here's how you respond to this objection, that. It's going to be less tactics. It's going to be more teaching on how to think about the entire process from 30,000 foot view. Okay. This is what we're going to cover today on the opening part of the show. By the way, we've got Tom Kroll coming up in 25 minutes. We got Rafael Cortez. We got David Olds, who owns Easy REI. What is it? Easy REI Transactions. It's a transaction coordination company. Oh, we'll get the exact. Somebody put it in the chat. You guys probably know David Olds. He's fantastic. He's going to tell us what kind of transactions are going on. He did 1,500 last year. 1,500 files last year. It's going to be absolutely incredible show. All right. This is what we're going to cover. Why people really sell at a discount. All right. We're going to talk about Heaven and Hell Island, and we're going to talk about your only 2 jobs on every single phone call you have with the property owner. Okay. Now, why do people really sell at a discount? People do not sell at a discount because you talk them into it. You're never going to convince. I get that question a lot. On this show. How do I convince this seller to take my offer? It's never going to happen. Okay. You're never going to talk them into it. They don't sell at a discount because they're dumb or uninformed. It's not like you're going to go out there and you're going to find somebody that has a super low IQ, that has no family members, no support, no help in selling their property, that you can just hoodwink into doing these deals. It doesn't happen. All right. They can easily look up what their value, the value of the house is online, right? Or what it would be if it was totally fixed up. Okay. You're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to do it because of your company or your brand. They're not going to sell it to a discount because you spend a bunch of marketing or because you buy a bunch of houses. They're not going to do it. That's not where they're going to sell their property. They're not going to be like, I love the name of your business. Oh my gosh. All-star home buyers. That is amazing. I was an all-star when I played, junior high hockey. I think that we have something in common. Let me give you my house. It's not going to happen. Okay. They don't care. All right. And they're not going to sell because of your testimonials. They're not going to be like, oh my gosh, everybody's just having a great experience with this company. I better sell my property for super low because everybody else is. I'm going to just jump on the bandwagon. Not going to happen. People sell because they're looking to change their situation on both a surface and emotional level. All right. The surface, think of this as an end result on both a surface and emotional level. Put differently, prospects have a current situation that's on the surface and emotional level, and they have a desired situation on the surface and emotional level. All right. When the path of least resistance from the current situation to the desired situation is your offer, the prospect will sell. Woo, what does that mean, Brent? I'm glad you asked because I'm going to break it down. All right. This is just the start of this. But does this make sense, guys? Put it in the chat. I need your participation. It helps out the entire show. And as I'm going through this, throw your questions in here. All right. It's better for people to ask the questions, get the answers to those so that you can go out and take action without any doubts in your mind. Right? Doubts are that little block, that little force field that stops you from taking massive imperfect action every day. Okay. So we're talking about current and desired state. It's important to understand that the prospects don't only sell based on surface level destinations. They sell to reach the emotional level destinations. Let me give you an example. There's tired landlords. Guys, this is like, I don't know, 50% of our business last year was people that owned rentals and were tired of being landlords. All right. Now, the surface level is they're constantly stressed out, right? They have non-paying tenants. They're like, oh my gosh, I have to think about this all the time. This is like, I got to go try to hunt these people down. It's taking my attention. I should be, focusing on other things in my life that are more fun and interesting, but instead I get pulled back into my daily routine, into going and finding the rent money from these tenants. All right. Surface level. Emotional level is, oh no, I have a loan on this property. And if I'm not making my payments on time because I'm not getting rent on time, then this is going to screw up my credit. And I've worked really hard at building up my credit for years and years and years and years. And this makes me angry, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. So your tenants aren't paying you it's stressful. Okay. That's the surface. Yeah. The tenants are bad. They beat it up. They did this and that. How do you get to the emotional level? How do you get to that deep part? That's really the key of this. Because if you stay at surface level like everybody else, then it just comes down to, okay, I'm going to take the best solution presented to me and run with that. And that's the offer I'm going to accept. But if we do a better job at understanding truly what the underneath emotional part of it is, we can actually solve their problem and they can feel good about the process. You make people feel good about the process. That's when they do business with you. That's when they give you testimonials. That's when they refer business to you. That's when you make this a great experience for that property owner. Okay. What about an inherited property? Surface level. Now you own a property that's in another state. Okay. Oh man. Now and Beth passed away. I inherited this property. It's in Alabama. I live in Phoenix. It's, in original condition or, it just hasn't been kept up to date or it's a hoarder house or whatever it is. Right. Late in life, she just collected everything or the property just went, there's a bunch of things that didn't get fixed, whatever. Right. If it starts falling apart, oh man, the emotional level is, oh man, now my cousin Spud and my cousin Brandon and my cousin Liz and my cousin Becky, now they all want their piece of the pie here. And I'm in charge of making sure that I try to get as much as possible because they all want to, use this as a money bank, as like a savings account, or they need to get bailed out for whatever reason. These are emotional reasons. Does this make sense? Everybody say yes. Woo! That is the emotional. We got to get deeper, guys. We got to get deeper. All right. And that's really understanding what is Hell Island and what is Heaven Island. All right. We want to build a healthy tension. We need to be able to build internal pressure. There's a big difference between external pressure and internal pressure. When you go, oh my God, easy REI closings. Thanks, Sterling. That's right. That's David Olds. If you go out and you're oh my gosh, this must be so emotional for you. Oh my gosh, you must be going through so much. And they're like, instead of what's going on there? How does that make you feel? What's happening with the family? Are they putting a bunch of pressure on me? Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Right? And then they start telling you, as opposed to you just putting on, oh my gosh, this external pressure on top of it has to be from inside. All right. They have to feel the pressure themselves. Internal pressure is being pressured to do something for your own reasons. Prospects need to feel the pressure for themselves and their situation, not from you. How do we build internal pressure? The more clearly you can define their current state versus their desired state, both surface and emotional, the more clear the gap will be between those places. It's the truth. What is Hell Island? What is their current state? What's their desired state? You want to paint a crystal clear picture of what Hell Island, what their current state is versus Heaven Island. The more clear the picture is, the more you and the prospect can see and feel the space between. Okay? Now let's look at Heaven Island and Hell Island. All right? So look at this graphic here. This is what I really want. Let's actually go to the board here for a second. So this is their current state. Hell Island. All right. This here is their desired state. This is Heaven Island. All right. What is the fastest? Well, we'll switch this up. I got 3 markers. I mean, might as well use them. You know what I'm saying? What's the fastest path? Is a cash as is offer? This is what you're trying to discover. Is it cash as is? Right? Is it retail? Should they just sell it on the market with an agent? Is it a novation? Or is it a creative offer? This is what we're trying to discover. Because they might think, I want to get as much as possible with a retail agent. Okay, great. Do you know that you have to pay about 6% in costs? Oh, boy. Okay. And then do you know that you have to get the house ready? Oh, boy. And then do you know that you have to do showings and remove your pets and your kids and everything has to look great all the time? Oh, boy. Do you know that there's an inspection period? Oh, boy. Do you know that they're going to ask you for repairs? Oh, boy. Do you know that it's going to take you, 90 days on average, start to finish? Oh, boy. Like all of these things make for a different experience for them. We're trying to discover what is the fastest path for them to get to Hell Island to get to Heaven Island from Hell Island. This is the discovery process, guys. This is top level stuff. This is really, really, really high level stuff. Once you get this down, it's unbelievable how confident you're going to be on going on appointments, which means that you'll be more confident with your lead generation. Because in the beginning, let's be honest, we only get low-hanging fruit. They tell us what we want, it makes sense, we lock it up, boom, it's done. But that low-hanging fruit's only 10% of the business. It's like the top of an iceberg. The whole 90% is below the water. All those other deals where you go and you're negotiating and really understanding what's going on with that property owner is the other 90% of deals that you can do once you discover this process. Once you understand, you have to get a clear picture of what is their problem and what's the best solution for them to solve that problem. It's usually one of these. It's one of these 4, truly, right? It's only going to be one of these 4. So, if you're just starting out, just focus here. Focus on the ugliest properties possible. That's why I advocate go drive around, find the ugliest properties possible. When you're pulling lists of properties from Deal Machine, look for the properties that were built at least 25 years ago because there's probably wear and tear. There's probably investment that needs to be made into those properties, and that's the potential. That's the potential of doing that deal. Look for these when you're starting out, all right? But you still have to do this process. And then you got to look out for the sharks. Let's talk about the sharks here, okay? Let's get back to this. Boom, boom. Okay? Now, once you elicit hell and Heaven Island, the current and desired state, the prospect is going to want to take action to resolve that tension. However, just because the prospect wants to take action doesn't mean that they will take action with you. Let me say that again. However, just because the prospect wants to take action doesn't mean they will take action with you. The key is to build the bridge that becomes the path of least resistance and destroy all other potential bridges. Right? How do we do that? Number 1, speed to appointment. Guys, speed to appointment. And I don't just mean going to the property. I mean responding quickly to text messages. I mean picking up the phone when people call you, not letting it go to voicemail. I mean putting priority on all of these potential prospects, potential leads, and making sure that you're taking this seriously and you're being professional. It is remarkable. You can change a business in an instant. I am telling you this, in an instant, by being the fastest to the lead, both in communication, responding to communication, and actually going out on the appointments. In an instant, whoever does that wins big time. All right? Next, solving problems creatively with their tenants, helping them move, leaving junk, quick closing, leasebacks. These are, let's go back here, the sharks. What are sharks? These are the objections that are trying to attack your beautiful bridge, right? All of these sharks. Oh, but I have tenants in there until October. Oh, I have so much junk in there that I have to remove before selling it. Oh, I'm not going to be in town, so I don't want to sell the property before I get in town, right? All of these objections, you hit them with two of the most powerful words in real estate, in our discovery process. If then. This is how we destroy sharks. This is how we harpoon the sharks. The sharks are these objections, these hurdles that people put in front of looking at your beautiful bridge from Hell Island to Heaven Island. We destroy them. We destroy them with these two beautiful words. Here's a beautiful example. I'll give you a story. I know I'm not great at stories, and I'm not a big storyteller, and I think that storytelling, in my opinion, sometimes, maybe it's because I got a little bit of a driver personality, is just a fluffy way to not tell you anything but make you feel good. But whatever. Chad, real life, got on a call, talked to a gal. She didn't want to sell because she couldn't afford to pay for a U-Haul to take a small U-Haul amount of personal properties from Arizona to Florida. Chad said, if we just go ahead and pay for that, organize it for you, then are you ready to move forward with us today? And guess what she said? Yep. And guess when that closed? Yesterday. And guess what we made? A 41K. Boom. If then. So powerful. Put it in front of you. Put it on your mirror. Put it on your desk. Put it on wherever. Put it on the back of your phone. If then. That's how you harpoon the sharks in your discovery process. The more you can harpoon sharks in your discovery process, the better. And listen to me, and this is very important. We all understand this. If a cash as is offer is not the best for this specific person, this specific property owner, don't offer them a cash as is offer. You're going to look foolish. You're going to look unprofessional. You're going to be wasting your time and their time. Well, you don't know if you don't ask. Yes, you do, because you're asking all of the questions here to see what is their current state and what is their desired state. We just looked at the stats. We looked at the stats of our leads coming in for pay-per-click, and there's a good amount of them that for the percentage of leads that came in over the last 6 months, 25% of them sold. Great. I'll take a 1 in 4 sold, but half of those sold for retail because they're nice properties. They're nice properties. That's why you either get a real estate license so that you can get a 50% referral fee, or if you don't want to, because whatever, I don't like studying, I don't like tests, I don't like doing that. I think that's foolish, and I think that you're way more powerful than you give yourself credit for, and way more intelligent than you give yourself credit for. But great, doesn't matter. Get somebody on your team that can get a 50% referral fee. Get an agent to pay for all of your marketing, your Mojo Dialer, your deal machine, your paper leads, your PPC, your direct mail. Have the agent put their credit card in to pay for those, and you give them all the retail leads, and you get 50% referral fee. Last year, we made $85K on an agent going out and referring us back a deal because the property wasn't in as good as condition, and we made an additional $85,000 from Stacy, our agent, selling deals. So that's $170,000 that we did that took my team no time because we just referred it, and I have a license, so I got a referral fee, all above board, right? Maybe they want a really big price, right? And the property can get conventional financing. It's just dated. It needs some work, but it's not like top tier. It's not going to get full market value. They're willing to work with you on price, but it's just not a cash price. So you need to get a conventional offer. We're going to have Rich Wonders. Isn't that the greatest name in real estate? A WWE name, for sure. Rich Wonders. I love it. He's going to be in. It's going to be awesome. Stick around. And he's going to show us how to do novations, how to convert those. Okay. But then you do novations. These are really popular. David Olds told me 50% of the deals that he did, I think of the 1,500, I might be wrong, we'll check, were novations. Interesting. And then creative offers. Maybe they don't want to sell. Maybe they don't want the tax burden. But remember, with creative offers, stick to this rule right here, and you're going to be in good shape. We call it the 5, 10, 50 rule. You want 5% or less down payment. Down. You want a 10-year balloon, which, guys, all that means is you have to pay off the creative finance note, the terms of that in 10 years. So you have a 10-year window to be able to do that, or you either sell the property or refinance. But a lot of owners, the average owner wants it in like 2 to 3 years. Don't do that. Not in this market. Don't do that. 10. All right. And then 50% is the payment. This is the percentage of the rents. If you get the 5, 10, 50 or under this, you have a wholesale creative finance deal, which is the only ones I'll do. The only ones I will do is I'm either going to get wholesale price or wholesale terms. You guys agree? Can we get an amen? That's like, don't do a deal just because you can do a deal. It has to be a deal. We make money when we buy, Brent. That's right, when we buy. So there you go. But guys, that is the key. The key is build that internal pressure, ask really great questions so that you can actually discover what is the best option. What is the best path? Have you thought about listing it with an agent? Have you thought about just fixing it up? We have to destroy all these other bridges that are out there, which is really just this. Now, are we going to discover in this process that property owners have unrealistic expectations? Yes, because they haven't made the decision they're actually going to sell their property. This is what we call looky-loos. And I'm sorry if your name's Lou out there. It just sounds, it's just a rhyming. I don't looky-loos. You know what I mean? Like these are people that aren't really serious. They're just trying to see if it's an option for them right now. Get rid of them as fast as possible. They will clog up your entire system. Don't stick around. Get them out. Use the trash can. It's the most powerful part of your CRM. Okay? But discover here, build the internal pressure, really discover what is happening. We have an incredible, if you haven't gone through the No Limit Sales course, we have it as part of the Rhino Tribe training. But Todd Toback, who is Tom Kroll's mentor in real estate, but also his stepbrother, put together the most incredible sales program ever. It's called the No Limit Sales System. I would say, I don't know what he charges for it now. You could look it up. But the return on investment in there is you can't even quantify it. It's like the greatest. So like time and time again, if you ask rhinos in here, if there's some rhinos that are in the Rhino Tribe in here that have been through it, it is the best training for this process you could possibly go through. And it really breaks all this down even more, and it's phenomenal. So remember, the most valuable real estate, I'm going to be super cheesy here because it's hilarious, but it's true, and it's sweet and cheesy. But the most valuable real estate is the 6 inches between our ears. We got to invest in that. Invest in that through training, through education, through environment, all of those things, right? We have to get that right because that is our value that we provide to the marketplace. If we want to be millionaires, we have to become millionaires. We have to be worth millions with our service. Does that make sense? Awesome. Guys. Looky Bob doesn't work, JF. It's got to be Looky Lou. So there you go. Awesome, guys. Let me know in the comments if that was valuable, and we can do some more higher level stuff in the shows to come. But it is time. I'm gonna bring him in with another quote from Earl Nightingale. By the way, guys, Earl Nightingale had in 2001. I had a friend of the family give me a cassette, this like thick plastic cassette training called "Lead the Field" by Earl Nightingale. Lead the Field. And I went to college 2 hours away from where my parents lived. So I'd be up and down, up and down, up and down. And I would just put these cassettes in my 2000 silver Mustang. Sheesh. And I would just listen to it over and over and over. And now we have YouTube. You guys can literally, don't do it now, but your homework, because the show is gonna be absolutely incredible. You can go on YouTube, just go Lead the Field, Earl Nightingale, and the whole thing is free. You can just listen to it. It's like 2 hours, 40 minutes. It's absolutely incredible. He talks about the 12 words that you need to know. Also, it comes in book form. All right, this is the book. It's incredible. You can highlight it like I do. You can dog ear it and everything else. But we're going to bring on my mentor, your mentor, everybody's mentor, Tom Kroll. Just a second. Or our coach, coachinginc.com, Tom Kroll. Before I do, I want to lead with this and see his thoughts. This is page 17 of Lead the Field. Our environment, the world in which we live and work, is a mirror of our attitudes and expectations. If we feel that our environment could stand some improvement, we can bring about that change for the better by improving our attitude. The world plays no favorites. It's impersonal. It doesn't care who succeeds or fails, nor does it care if we change. Our attitude towards life doesn't affect the world and the people in it nearly as much as it affects us. Tom Kroll.
Bam!
What do you think of that?
It's all about who you have to be before what you have to do.
Attitude and expectations. I love that.
I just got off the phone with a new client. He said, what's the first thing I should do, Tom? I said, he's very wealthy. I said, go to a Denny's or an IHOP or a diner and order a cup of coffee and leave $1,000 tip, and don't put it on social media. Don't tell a soul. Just go start the adventure that way. And yeah, it's so true, brother. And reading, you know, it's funny as you're going through that book, I just opened up Audible, right? This is what's on my Audible. I was in the car with my daughter, right?
Yep.
Thinking grow rich. Yeah, who do you have to be before what you have to do is critical. That's what happened to me at my Sean Terry conference, right? I had 3 different people said, well, what's the secret? They said, read. What are you reading? Edwina Gaines. What is it? The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. Oh, yep. One of the best books ever written, brother. I love it. Yeah, of course. I love it. Earl Nightingale. He's the best. Very
Tom,
cool.
how do we have a good attitude if we're poor? How do we have a good attitude if we're not where we want to be in life? How do we have a good attitude when we've worked really hard and we found somebody that'll sell us their house and it wasn't a real deal?
Yeah. You know, I think, right, Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy teach us this, right? That your attitude determines your altitude. And
yep.
You know, I know that for me, I think it's a question of how bad do you actually want it? I don't think there's a such thing as a lack of motivation. I think there's just the wanting of one thing more than another. But I could tell you when I really wanted something, when I was really suffering and down and out, and I said, I'm going to make this work or I'm going to die trying, I had a smile from ear to ear the whole time. I think gratitude is an action. It's not a feeling. You know, I see a lot of these guys and they talking about gratitude and what I'm grateful for and what I'm grateful for. What are you going to do with what you're grateful for? What are you going to do with it? The fact that you can still walk, the fact that you might have parents that are still alive or your children are still around. Yeah, you're grateful. That's great that you have a feeling. I want to know, what are you going to do with that? All of this talent, the fact that you can make a phone call. I mean, brother, my goodness, how easy is this business? It's just a volume. This is a numbers game, guys. This is not don't be so impressed by any of us or anybody who's teaching this. This is not as much skill as it is volume. This is 100% a volume game. All of those no's that you want to feel good about something, have the right attitude. Every time those questions, Brent, that you were just talking about, guys, don't be scared of the answer. Go right into those scary answers. As soon as you feel in your belly like, oh man, if I say this, what if they say they do want to go with an agent? Or maybe they say they do want to rehab the house, or maybe they do want to be a landlord and rent out anything in let your belly lead you. Let your belly lead you. When you feel like, oh man, if I say this, what are they going to say? Say it. As soon as you feel like, what if I say like I'm looking for a good deal, right? What are they going to do? They're going to kick me out? Say it. Whatever that, always let the discomfort be your guide. That's where everything you want is on the other side of that. So yeah, I think when it comes to having a good attitude, it's going to come down to how bad do you really want it. Anybody who wants something bad enough, there's a scene in the Truman Show, and there's a journalist interviewing the director of the dome of the Truman Show, the guy who runs the whole thing. And he says to them, he says, if Truman wanted to get out, there is nothing that we could do to stop him from getting out. And that's how the movie ends, right? And I will tell you guys, that's really what it comes down to. When you really make that decision that I am going to do this or I'm going to die trying, it is just a beautiful thing, because there's no more distractions. There's no shiny objects. There's nothing, a high school buddy calling you about a new job. You are dedicated and you're just going to make it work. Everything just falls in place.
So when people come to you, Tom, in Coaching Inc., what do you do with them? Like, what are they coming to you for?
Well,
like, what do you do all day?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I do. Most of the day I'm in my garden. I just got a new compost tumbler. I've got a new paper shredder to make more compost if you want to really excel in business, plant a garden today, not tomorrow, today. I don't care what gardening zone you live in Alaska, get some cabbage in the ground, because there are more lessons in entrepreneurship and business in a garden than there are in sports or anything else that comes even close. But with my clients, right? So my clients are coaches. You guys know all the coaches. A lot of them I'm blessed to call clients. What do? I go over the rules of business, right? Revenue in first position. Stop fooling around with a logo and a website and a domain name and an $8,000 conference table, and get on the phone and close deals and put revenue in first position. That's your obligation to your community, to your clients, to your team, is to produce money. Your business does not have money. Your customer service and your clients are going to go down. You're going to get bad reviews. Number two, everyone's full of poop. That's a second rule. Don't go around feeling sorry for yourself for less than. Anybody online who looks great and everything is great and this is great and they're great and the car is great. Everybody has challenges and struggles and hurdles. And most people online are smart enough to show people their scars, not their open wounds, right? So don't feel sorry for yourself. We're all on an equal playing field, just like Earl Nightingale just said, right? There's no favorites.
There's no favorites.
No favorites. Number three is never stop doing what works. No matter what anybody online says, if you already have a few houses, you keep doing what works. This is what I remind my coaches, right? Never stop doing what works, no matter what anybody online says. This is what amateurs do. Every single day is a new day of restarting from scratch. Professionals don't start from scratch. Professionals get going and then they progress. This is how burnout happens. Burnout happens not from working hard, right? Nobody's ever gotten burnout from working hard. Burnout happens from moving and moving and moving and not going anywhere. You're running in place. That's what the hamster wheel is. So you never stop doing. Rule number 4, but never, ever, ever partner when you can hire. Never, ever, ever. I'm talking to all of the new real estate investors who say, I'm really good at this and I'm not good at that. And they're really good at that and they're not good at this. So we make a 50-50 pair because we're friends. No. You have everything in your belly and your brain that you need to be successful, to flip a house or whatever.
Can I touch on this too, Tom?
Of course,
because
yeah,
we're in complete alignment. I had partners for a long time. And the reason I did, as I reflect back, Tom, is we started at the same level of skills. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, we're going to go on this new adventure together. And we had the same level of skills. And then what I did between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night, when, you do the income producing activities, you're pounding the phones, you're going on appointments, you're doing that type of stuff, you're learning, partners would be doing the same thing. But then 6 to 9, I wanted to do more. I wanted to learn faster. I wanted to grow more. You know what I mean? And they just played Call of Duty. Right. You know what I mean? Or they just went out drinking, or they just went out, macking on the ladies. That's
well, the worst thing.
Kids call it that anymore? What do kids call it?
The worst thing.
Hooking up. Hooking up.
Dang, no, I heard Lacey use a word the other day. I don't remember.
What'd she say?
I can't think of it. It was some weird word. I was like, what is that? And she's like, when it's the boys and girls are flirting. But I was like, Lacey, you're 16, relax. But the real problem is not actually when you don't make money. You really want to, when
you make money.
It's when you make money. That's when you think you have a problem partnership. Guys, let me encourage everybody right now.
Is it risen it up, Tom? Did you say risen up?
I think that's what it was.
Thanks, JF.
Oh man, that's funny. But it's the real strain. You don't have a good shot statistically. You had a partner. You're just tying a noose around your neck. So never do that. And guys, let me tell you right now, the number one predictor of success as an entrepreneur is your ability to handle pressure. So if you've already made that mistake and you're already in that awkward position, I want you to face it. Don't wait. Do it right now. It's not going to be any better or easier tomorrow. Call that partner. Say, I love you. I'm sorry. It's all me. I made a mistake. I'm going to go on my own, but I want to do this together. You're going to have your own thing and I'm going to have my own thing, and we will help each other and we will collaborate, but we're not going to be in misery together. We're not going to bring each other down, because there's no reason to do that. You really want to help that partner? Go create a $2 million real estate business right now, and that'll help that partner. More than you.
Well, we already have a partner, Tom. All of us already have a business partner. Well, yeah, God, but the other one that takes, between, 25 to 50% of our income every year. That's the U.S. government. Yeah, the dog.
Oh, the government. Yeah, and the government wants you to be an investor.
The IRS. I mean, truly. I mean, guys, I am telling you, it is shocking. When you go out, you make 10, 20, 30,000, you're feeling amazing. You're seeing that in your account. And then you realize 33% minimum is not yours. All right. And the mistake that I made, and I think it's a common mistake, Tom, is I go, well, I could give it to the government, or because the way the business works is, it's income minus expenses equals net, and then I get taxed on the net. I'll just increase my expenses. I'll hire more people. I'll pay for more things. I'll invest in more things.
Right.
Because that's what big businesses do, right, Tom? Big businesses, they go out and they have these big capital. They throw a bunch of capital at all of these machinery and resources at the end of the year in the fourth quarter, so that it reduces their tax liabilities. And then you only pay yourself $5,000 to $10,000 a month, which 33% of that goes to the government. So now you have $6,000 a month to live on, which is okay. I mean, that could be somebody's win. I'm not going to, judge anybody for what their goals are, but my goals were way higher. And so once I realized, okay, I got to think bigger. I mean, $1 million. If you ever see like an NFL contract or an NBA contract or any of these professional athletes that make $12 million, and you see them talking to their agents and they're like, yeah, half of that's gone. Right. And then you start realizing, holy cow, $1 million truly is about 600,000.
Well, unless you have a partner, then it's about 125,000.
Well, I mean, I tell the story that I was sitting next. I had dinner at Mastro's, or at Steak 44, which is a really nice steak restaurant. And I talked to the waiter, and I was like, "What do you make here? Like, you guys get amazing tips. You guys are so professional. These guys are great, beautiful. I mean, they're just beautiful people. The women, the men, the servers, everybody's just like, wow, geez Louise, right?" They're living well. And he's like, yeah, I make like $250,000 a year. And I was like, that's incredible being a server at this thing. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I got to work hard. It took me a long time to build up to that, whatever. And then I'm talking to these wholesalers. They make $4 million a year. They're at 10% net. Come on in, David. They're at 10% net. And I'll bring it on in just a second. And so that's 400,000 that they split, which is 200,000. And then they get taxed on the 200,000. They make less than the guy serving us that's scraping the breadcrumbs off with the scraper, Tom.
And then they go home, and just to put a little bit of salt on that wound, Aaron and Julie say, yeah, but Tom, Brent, why are you working so hard and Jerry and Rick aren't working as hard? It seems like you're working hard. Why is it a 50-50 split? And then you might as well just close the whole business down and just start from scratch. So have that awkward conversation today. Don't wait. Don't be silly. You can do it. You're strong. You're powerful. Don't waste your life on a partnership of some weird codependency thing because your dad didn't love you when you were a kid, or so whatever the thing is. You were picked last for basketball. Believe me, I was in the chess club. I was picked last for basketball. I still don't have a partner, right? So I just do the right thing. Have the awkward conversation. Be brave. Have courage. And don't be a people pleaser, because people pleasers are liars. And if you're in a partnership where you're not happy and you don't like it and you show up every day and pretend, you are going to hurt a lot of people, including yourself and your family and your team. So just stop doing it.
Guys, coachinginc.com. Tom, do you have your podcast out? What's going on with that?
Oh, very soon. Darren Bentley. I just saw a note online right before I hopped on. He got Tiffany High in first position, top 15th podcast in the nation. Darren Bentley's the best. And we're ready to launch it very, very soon. So it's going to be a great adventure. And I can't wait. I'll share it with you. I'll have you on.
Guys, if you are teaching, if you're coaching, you need Tom Kroll in your life. Coachinginc.com. Check him out. Bam. Tom, you're the best, buddy.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Love you, man.
Love you.
David Oltz, come on in. Easy REI closings. I was like, I couldn't forget the closings part. I was like, right. Easy REI, easy REI.
Yeah, your life easy. That's all that counts.
That's awesome. So, how many transactions did you guys handle last year?
A little over 7,200.
7,200?
Yeah.
Transactions.
Yeah.
7,200.
Yeah. She can probably give us the exact number, but yeah.
I told him 1,500. Jeez Louise, 7,200.
Yeah.
Give me the splits on that.
Roughly 40% wholesale, 40% novation. And then the rest is a split between, creative, sub to owner financing, buy and hold.
20% creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about all the different exit strategies here. Yeah. I actually have this little graphic here that I started out with. In a normal market, or a little bit of a buyer's market, a little bit of a seller's market, but a pretty balanced market. Mm-hmm. There's three main factors that the property owners are looking at, right? Mm-hmm. Speed, convenience, price.
100%.
They only get two.
You only get two. You can't have all three.
Right. So they only get two. And so depending on what they do in our discovery process determines how we transition those leads.
Right.
Right.
Love it. That's a great graphic.
And so when you guys handle the transaction coordination for these 7,200 deals?
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Those were just our deals.
What's 7,200 times 40%? What is that? Anybody?
Okay. 2,800, something like that.
2,800?
Right.
We'll see how close you get.
Yeah.
You've done that many novations last year? There were that many novations last year?
2,880.
How many?
Yeah.
2,880.
Yeah.
Guys, is that incredible or what?
Yeah, more than anybody in the country by far.
What paperwork do you need for novation?
You're going to have your contract, novation indemnification agreement. And
wait. So you got purchase agreement.
Purchase agreement.
I'm going to write it here.
All right.
Yep. Keep going.
Purchase and sale agreement, novation indemnification, and attorney of fact. That's it.
You don't need a power of attorney?
No. There is a difference. We talked about this the other day.
Yep.
You can have, there are different people teach it a couple different ways. You can have a power of attorney or an attorney in fact. And really the power of attorney to me gives you a little bit too much power.
I agree. I think it gives you too much risk too.
Yeah.
But one thing so I talked to Jeremy, my disposition manager. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't power of attorney, but and maybe you ran into this. some MLSs
Right.
require a note to be notarized.
Right. Yeah,
Some
there are some that
don't.
are a little funny. Yeah.
So purchase agreement, you've got the novation.
Indemnification.
Can people download this somewhere?
Yeah, I'm sure there are copies out there. We're gonna have copies for our clients here pretty soon.
Sure.
And the attorney in fact or POA. AIF.
Attorney in fact.
Right. And really all that is
Or
doing,
power.
Yeah. All that you really want there is you want to have the ability to take this property and put it on MLS on behalf of the seller.
Right.
Yeah.
This is it?
That's it.
What about a net proceeds sheet?
Different. We'll prepare that for our client at the end. We'll calculate, you have a contract with the seller for 100,000, you're selling it for 200,000. Typically the investor is going to be taking care of the agent fees, if there's any repairs, any of that. So yeah, but a net listing, I think that's only in California, right? Where you can do that.
You can do net listings in a lot of areas, but brokers are very, very, very against it. So that's the issue that you run into and there's just too much going on. I highly suggest, I'll see what you think, that if you have a license, you don't list it yourself, you hire somebody else to do it. So let's just break this down real quick. So let's say you have you sell the property for 200,000.
Right.
You have a purchase agreement with the seller for 100. There's a lot of dollar signs. 150,000.
Sure. Okay.
So of this 200,000, what are we responsible
You're
for?
going to have roughly, so this is what you guarantee the client.
Correct.
The seller, right? Brent, I'm going to get you 150,000. I'm going to give you convenience. I'm going to give you price. You're not going to have to worry about anything.
Right.
So any other closing costs that the seller is required to pay.
Right.
So
Let's say it's a
closing costs.
6% agent.
Right. So
How much for title and escrow on average?
Usually about 10 total.
Let's say
usually about
10%.
10%.
So you're 20K off the bat. 20K for agent and closing
title,
costs.
whatever.
Closing costs.
Yeah.
Guys, if there are questions, I need them in here. We've got almost 100 people live. If you've got questions, this is the time. Like this is really powerful, guys. If you're running into properties where the owner knows they can't get full market value because they haven't fixed it up, but they can sell it to a conventional buyer, right? They can sell it on the open market. We'll walk through the whole process. But okay, so 20 there. And then what else? Maybe some repairs?
Yeah, if there were some repairs, usually this comes in at about 9%. So I always just figure 10 as a
Perfect.
Just to round it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you seeing for kind of fix up, repair costs, that type of thing?
Minimal. The only thing that most of our clients are doing, a couple ways to do novations, right? I can buy it, I can do the whole fix up. And then
No.
sell it.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No.
It's something that didn't pass inspection. Wobbly stairs. Need to fix this gutter. Need to have a stove. Something like
And
that.
most people give a credit. They go, hey, listen,
Yeah, 100%.
we can repair it or we can give you a credit, and the credit will go towards closing costs
Yeah,
and or the
whatever you
price,
want it to be.
right?
When I was rehabbing houses, and you get that last minute walkthrough and all that stuff.
Let me break this down for everybody just so that it's really clear. So in a conventional sale, they do an inspection. They get an inspector in, and the inspector is going to go and they're going to give you a whole list, several pages of things that are
It's a
wrong,
dream list.
that are safety hazards,
Yeah, life health.
cosmetic, anything that's going on with the property that could lead to further issues with the property. They're gonna disclose.
Yeah.
They're gonna show. That's how the property owner knows. It's like taking your car to like a car you're buying to the mechanic. They do the once over to see what's going on. Same thing. And so oftentimes they're gonna go, hey, we'll take care of these other things, but I want you to take care of this. Yeah. And what we prefer to do in our business is we go, okay, well, we can hire somebody to go out there. We can get multiple bids. We can get it done.
Right.
We can make sure that you come back out and re-inspect it to make sure that the work got done was up to your satisfaction. Or preferably,
Yes.
we'll give you $3,000 credit, $5,000 credit, which would either come off the price. So we're like, we'll just reduce the price to $195. They don't like this typically. The reason they don't like this typically is they've already hired an appraiser. The appraiser sees $200,000 on the purchase agreement. Then they go and do all what they do. Sometimes it screws up the lending if you change the purchase price. This is next level stuff. But again, we're master's level on today's live show, baby. Okay. Well, so what we usually do is we go, okay, we'll give you a $5,000 credit towards closing costs. And so this helps them pay for title and escrow fees, the lender fees. There's significant,
They
there's
bring
way
us-
more fees for the buyer
Oh, yes.
than there is for the seller on a traditional, because you pay a lot of these lending fees and whatnot. And this could go to buying down the rate or whatever else.
Yeah.
Then they go and they fix it themselves. So this is the preferred. So let's
100%.
say 5,000 is the average, 10% off the top. So we're looking at, we had $50,000
Mhm.
spread between the 200 and the 150. And then we minus the 20,000. That is the closing costs and agent, and the 5,000. Boom. We net 25,000.
Yeah.
What David and the team does is go, hey, at the end of it, here's
We'll figure it out.
$25,000 that'll be taken from the seller's
seller,
proceeds
right, as a marketing
to you.
Mhm.
Boom. And you have it as a marketing fee or what?
Yeah, marketing fee. Sure.
It's not an ovation fee.
No.
It's not a,
Don't ever try to be too smart and show sellers and show companies how smart you are, because you're just going to confuse them. Keep it as simple as possible.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Guys, any questions about innovation? Now you're masters in innovations. That's all you need. Boom.
There you go.
I highly suggest, guys, that if you don't do novations on a regular basis, you partner with somebody that's done them.
Yeah.
Rich Wonders is coming in. He does a phenomenal job
Mhm.
of partnering. He's got novationking.com/JV, I think. What do we have that somewhere
Feel like
under,
that's it.
Matt? Is that in our, can we run that across? Check that out. Awesome.
Yeah, novations can get a little bit tricky. In a wholesale deal, it's you and me. You're an investor. I'm the wholesaler. I'm selling you a cash deal. If anything kind of goes sideways, or we need to, thank you. If we need to change title companies, it's not a big deal. But novations can be, a little different, because I'm not dealing with an investor. I'm dealing with a retail buyer.
Yep.
Right. So, they don't typically see behind the curtain at the Wizard of Oz, right? They everything's just a normal retail transaction. So I've got, Joe and Susie who are buying this to be at their home. They've got their friend who's a realtor, and, it's very easy to spook them. And we see this a lot. What happened is the investor, maybe they're not experienced with novations, and they just let the buyer's agent pick the title company.
Yeah.
And now you start sending over all this paperwork. Somehow it gets to the agent, because it always does, because it's their title company, and it just looks very weird. It looks very, to somebody who doesn't know, it could look like a scam, right?
Yeah.
And we have had countless people come to us, as they're becoming a client, be like, hey, I've tried novations, they've blown up. I'm like, really? Tell me what happened. Oh, yeah, you had a title company that wasn't familiar with what we were doing, because not every title company is created the same, right? We know that. And most, and
which is fine, because most are literally, they're designed to get real estate agents that do real estate agent deals.
right. And so this is a weird thing,
Because that's most of the deals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where they're
not every title company is even going to understand what a novation is.
Right.
They're just not. They don't. A lot of them won't do a wholesale deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, or sub two or any of that. So yeah. So it's very easy, to lose control of your deal and lose and 25 is a low novation number. We have people that pop 50, 60, 70 all the
What's
time.
the average?
Heather, what do you think on novations?
Heather, do you want to jump in here? I mean, Raphael's going to come in here soon, so it'll be like 5 minutes, but you want to show everybody how awesome you are? No. Okay.
I would say
what's the average?
I would say in the 40s.
40, 45,000 per deal.
Yeah. Because guys, the thing is now
$45,000.
You're not selling to a cash buyer that wants to beat you up. You're selling to Joe and Susie, who are going to have this as their home.
I literally almost crapped my pants the
Yeah.
first time $42 was wired into my account. Literally had watery guts, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
45 is the average.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that these are more in the outskirts of town, or are these in major metropolitan areas?
Combination.
I got a yes. It's the outskirt. It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting strategy to go inbound leads,
Mhm.
either PPL, PPC, direct
Right.
mail, even cold calling, texting, all
Sure.
those things.
Sure.
And guys, I'll give you an update on the FCC stuff in a second. But I mean, just going on the outskirts where there's not a lot of competition, but there's not a lot of cash buyers,
Right.
which keeps a lot of us wholesalers out of there because they're a lot more difficult to move. People are transitioning those into novation deals.
Yeah, people still
And
wanna live
actually,
there.
I mean, Sean Terry did this a while ago and has a great coaching program on it. But he's been doing that for a really long time, and it's been really effective.
Novations aren't brand new.
Yeah,
like they've been around for forever. It was just
Eric Brewer has a great one.
Brewer. Yep. Yeah.
Even Rich Wonders, who's going to be in here, he's got his Rainmaker Academy, which is
we have a lot of his students that are
I
closing
bet.
some ridiculous size deals.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
If that's not a testimonial,
Rich,
put that on a meta ad.
Now, Rich is great. We see a lot of his clients that are hitting those 50s and the 75s and the 100s. What do you think the biggest novation fee we've ever seen is? Over 100, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to ask some questions here.
I'm ready.
Sharone? No. What do you think?
I don't have my glasses. I don't put my glasses back on.
I apologize.
Yeah, Sharone.
Sharon. Jones, what do you recommend for us wholesalers in Philly? Should we double close or just get a realtor license? Are you guys doing any Philly deals?
Yeah. Yeah.
There he is.
There he is.
The birthday boy himself.
Yeah.
Double close.
I like double closing. I think if you get your realtor license now, you're subject to a whole nother set of rules and people that are gonna beat you up and track everything you're doing. So I think it's far cheaper to just double close it.
Well, in Philly, and I thought in Philly you just had to register.
You do have to register,
and you don't have to have a license.
No, you have to register. In fact, we're working on that. We're on wholesaling. Yeah, you have to register. You have to.
But do you have to have a license?
Heather, license? Yeah.
We're gonna find out in 20 seconds if you have to have a license. I didn't think you did.
I know it's definitely
Pennsylvania's changed though.
Yeah,
but Philly, you have to register. It's very specific.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to have a real estate license, but 90% sure. So what do I know? But tell them about the report you're coming out with.
Yeah, now we just finished the last edit. Maybe yesterday. Was it yesterday? So I'll reformat it and then we'll drop it out there.
When, David?
Monday. I'll give you
titled "War on Wholesaling: Regulations Throughout the Country."
Yeah,
what's
we went
coming
through
up
state by state what the That's why there's like 23 cities and states that have very specific rules on wholesaling.
Yeah.
So
Raph, come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Join us.
Yeah. You know what's happened is,
guys, give it up for Rafael Cortez. Yeah. Man, we got to get the sound effects thing back. I want a button. You know what I mean? With the applause and the fun sounds.
So there are definitely laws that have come out and
put that in front of you.
Regulating. Oh, you got one.
Yeah, he's got a mic.
You got where they're trying to regulate wholesalers because there are the great thing about wholesaling, right? Very low barrier of entry. All of us can come in here. We can do this. We can make a lot of money, a ridiculous amount of money. The bad thing about wholesaling, very low barrier of entry, and anybody who is maybe unscrupulous can come in here and take advantage of people.
Sure.
So yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, regulation's always been a thing.
What's the deal?
Yes, you have to license, you have to register, you have to license, and then there's a whole bunch of different disclosures and stuff that you have to get.
Yeah.
Disclosures, license. Did that change? When did that change? January 4th, 2025. Wow. Okay, perfect. So you have to have a license, disclosures, and register.
Yeah.
In Philly or in Pennsylvania? In Pennsylvania. Oh, that's great. That's such an opportunity, though.
Yeah.
Every time, I'm telling you, every time they're like, oh, you have to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
90% of the people are gone. 10% are left. And then it's not like ugly houses are going away.
No.
Ugly situations going away.
You know, what's interesting is the states and cities, they do this to try to, in their mind, protect the consumer. But you look at a place like, South Carolina where, a normal amount of wholesalers. Well, now you've basically wiped the slate clean. And the three of us who have funding can go in there, right? And now we're not competing with 40 other people. It's just us three in the whole state, right? Now I can offer way less because there's no competition. So the consumer actually has less choice.
One thought
Well,
to throw out there.
Go ahead.
If you're in a regulated area like Pennsylvania, for
Mhm.
example, I mean, look at virtual wholesaling. You don't have to, just sink your teeth into that, that one backyard, right?
Mhm.
You can look at,
Sure.
you can still do it in other areas. So
Yeah, 100%. There are
Get a
plenty of places.
license.
Yeah.
Knock it off. Like, what are we talking about? It's the silliest test of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Some people, I didn't pass it the first time, but I also took it like in one day of studying. You know what I mean? Like, just do it. Like, some people don't. I get it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But just do it. Just get it done.
There's so much
You're-
pushback on that. I've had a license since 2013. Never had an issue. I'm a broker.
Yeah, I've never had one.
So it's never been a problem as long as you disclose.
Yeah.
Disclosure is the name of the game. You stay on the right side of things and
Yeah.
be a good human. You're gonna be okay.
As we go through all of those states when we're putting that
Yeah.
report together, that is one of the biggest things is just either they want you to have a license and they want you to disclose.
So I love the point that you're making that the consumer actually loses with
Yeah.
less competition.
Mhm.
That's why the FCC and TCPA just got shut down. All those changes gone.
Yeah.
11th Circuit Court decided that what they were doing was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That consumers should have multiple bids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's none of them are going into effect. They first pushed it back a year and then they just blasted
They
it.
just killed it.
They just killed it.
Yeah. I think
I got 2 texts from my TCPA attorney
Mhm.
the same night. They're like, oh, yeah,
Never
it got
mind.
pushed back to 2026. Oh, no,
Just
11th Circuit Court just crushed
shut
it.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think regulation kicks in, and they're going to try to do as much as possible, just like the traditional real estate, right? They want to capitalize on that kind of opportunity
Yeah.
when other people are making money on it. I mean, it's just the name of the game. You open it up, like you said it a while back. You open it up in one state, and it just starts to trickle, and you'll see adjustments and levels of regulation. But
Yeah.
there's always going to be opportunity if
Sure.
if you know how to stay on the right side of things.
Yeah, the great
I'm
thing
looking
about
forward to
us
that
is,
report, man.
is we're very light on our feet as investors. We can pivot much faster than they can write laws.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, getting great deals is never going to be against the law, in my opinion.
No, you said it right. Like, life goes on for people, right? Even good markets, bad markets, people are still moving, or people are passing away, they're getting divorced, their job transfer, whatever it is.
Great question by Tim. Tim, what's up, man? I love he's doing this whole thing where it's like day 1 of wholesaling, day
Yeah.
2 of getting to like I think it's a certain amount, like 100,000 or 6 figures or something. It's really cool. Keep it going, Tim. The question is, can you
Nice.
novate a beat up property and just mark it on the MLS as needing a cash offer? Don't novate it, just assign it.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't need the novation
Right.
paperwork, which you can. I talked to Rich. They do the novation paperwork for every property, and then they can choose what they want
Right.
to do. Typically, Tim, with a novation is you're trying to sell it to an end buyer who's going to probably live in it, and they're going to get very traditional financing, which comes back into the inspections and the appraisal and everything.
And higher
So-
price point.
Yeah. So yes, the answer is you can, as long as you want the property to pass an inspection, right? You want it can be dated. It could have green countertops and plywood cabinets, but it's got to be livable. So a beat up property, I would probably just market that. That's just your regular contract.
Are you going through do you mean attorney in fact, something like that, and then put it up on the MLS and then
Yeah.
just find a buyer for it and assign it?
Yeah.
Is it true the best novation, Scott W. asks, is it true the best novations happen in small markets? There's like 50-50 in major markets. Yeah, I think we touched on this, Scott. But
Yeah. You can novate any place, but it's very useful in small markets.
we do none in Phoenix.
Really?
None. Like the only ones we do are outskirts
Really?
every time.
Today we're putting one on the MLS. I mean, through attorney in fact strategy in Yuma.
Yeah.
Same reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric asks, are you paying for the renovations on the property when doing a novation?
Yes. Because Eric, you told the seller, Mrs. Smith, you're going to get the $150,000. So yeah, you can't come back to them. And I mean, you can, but that's part of your deal, right? You tell them, hey, I'm going to take care of everything for you. And the end buyer will ultimately pay me.
I like this. Rags to riches. What is the underside or cons to novations?
You have to have a seller. I think if you go back to your graphic at the beginning, if they want something very fast, a novation is probably not going to be the strategy for you, because it's going to take 60 to 90 days, like a very traditional sale. So that's probably the biggest, I guess, what you would say con. The other thing, it would be losing control of your deal with the buyer's agent. You know, that's I've seen so many deals go sideways where we've had to come in and fix them for people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which properties or situations work the best for a novation?
Again, you know, with that graphic, a seller who just doesn't want to deal with agents and, you know, just all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's got to be a property. The way I do it or would want to do it is I want a property that can just pass an inspection. Like, I don't care if it's got old copper pipes, right? None of those things don't matter to me. Can somebody move in there and just live there today? Right.
Yep.
And then, you know, let's say all the houses are identical and they're all selling for 200,000. I want to go to market at 185 or 190, right? Because we do want to have some sense of speed, right? I need my property to sell before those other ones.
Yeah, there's going to be an aggressive price point there.
Yeah.
I mean, at least something to catch the eye on top of everything else.
Yeah, because, you know, ultimately we did tell Mrs. Smith and put her under contract, and we've got to solve their problem. So we don't want to let it drag out forever.
Yeah, I mean, here's the conversation. It is property's in decent shape. You can get a conventional loan. They want more than you can offer them for a cash offer.
Yep.
So we say, well, listen, we can handle this for you, but we're going to have to open this up to all of the buyers in the market. A cash offer just doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint. We need to open it up to all of it. Now, we will handle everything. We'll hire the agents. We'll negotiate it. Whatever price we agree, you wanted the $150,000 price. Great. We're going to put it out at, you know, as much as we can, and it will settle on a price, and we'll handle everything. You don't have to do anything except for get your $150,000 at the end of this. Does that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why wouldn't I just list it with myself? You certainly can. Sure. You can do that. If you would like to list it and get more than 150,000, 100%. If we want us to take care of it, this is what we would do.
Yeah.
Okay. And they want you to take care of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's the same reason somebody sells a property for cash very quickly. I have sold even my own investment properties where I don't have too much going on, don't have time to deal with it.
Yeah,
so.
the convenience factor is huge.
Yeah.
What do you have? What can somebody do in terms of a safety stop, I guess? For example, in the investment. For example, the seller wants 150. The property is worth 230.
Yeah.
You're gonna, novate it and list it on the MLS, maybe do some repairs on it, but you find out that there's issues with the foundation.
Yeah.
Halfway through it.
So usually that's part of my acquisitions process. Hey, Brent, so we've agreed on this. We're going to send our people out there. We're going to take some pictures. We're going to do some inspections, that type of stuff. Hey, if there's anything we come across that we didn't talk about or you didn't know and I didn't know, we may have to come back and look at this price. Does that sound fair? That's
cool.
it. That's how, and you should be doing that on your wholesale deals.
Right.
As well, right. I always I call it like planting a flag there on the beach that I can always come back and reference this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set the
Easy REI closings, correct?
Yep.
Boom. There you go, guys. Go easy REI closing. So you guys do transaction coordination for a tremendous amount of investors around the country.
Yeah.
We're getting onboarded too.
You're doing it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I'm telling you, transaction coordination is day one of my real estate. I want nothing to do with paperwork. I was so scared of it. I didn't want to mess with it. I didn't want to learn much about it. I wanted to kind of enough to be able to understand what was going through, what was in the paperwork, but I didn't want to file it and scan it and do all these things and give it to the title company and respond to the title company, get all these emails that was basically written in hieroglyph. Like I had no idea.
We call
But
it abstractor language.
yeah, sure. It's like I have no idea what it is. EasyREIClosings.com, guys. The way that you do it, it's a subscription.
Yeah, we do it we almost do give them the price, convenience, and the speed. Yeah, we can do it at a very low price for them because we do it at such scale. And the other thing that we'll show you, if you're doing 2 deals a month, I'll show you how to completely offset what you pay us and have your buyers pay you back. So
how do you do that?
So, thank you.
You
for
can't
asking.
open it. Like
I know,
that.
right?
Can't be like they're like, well, how do I do that?
You got to book a
I
call.
can show you
and-
how to make $1 million.
Yeah. No, this is something we've been talking about for a long time that we put into our wholesaling business maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So let's just talk about a normal assignment, right?
Yep.
I'm buying it from you, selling it to you. In my either assignment agreement or my contract with my end buyer, I'll put a little line in there that says buyer to pay $749, $999, transaction fee at closing. That's it. So now instead of making $25,000, now I'm making $25,749. right? So at 2 or 3 deals, that's $749 or $990. That completely offsets the cost of us.
Yep.
So now you're not running Indeed ads, you're not setting up interviews, going through resumes, offering people job, and you've waited too long and now they found something else. You're not bringing them in, getting them on payroll, training them, managing them, all of that. You call us tomorrow. You've got 15, 16 coordinators in our office ready to go for you.
It's one of the toughest jobs.
It's yeah, and
It's one of the highest turnover jobs
Yeah.
there is.
We are-
Without a doubt, it's one of the highest turnover jobs there is.
yeah, we're
Yep.
not built for it. Like, it's not our personality type. We hire people who love that problem solving,
Yeah.
Excel spreadsheets, taking notes.
There's another thing that happens that I understood, it happens in TC.
You open
It's
that door.
you have the skill set, right? You got
Mhm.
to know what you're doing in terms
Yeah.
of the paperwork, the
Yeah.
clarity, staying organized,
Yeah.
but then the relationships.
Sure.
Every time you have to build a new relationship, going to a new market, or just
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole battle in itself.
Mhm.
So the network is another
Yeah.
big thing. I mean, that for me just makes sense.
Yeah.
Listen, people in that area, I don't, just knock it out.
Right. And even, if you're in your town and, like in Chattanooga, I had a title company that I went to all the time, had this great title agent until she wasn't there anymore. And
Yeah.
literally overnight, they were like, we don't do wholesale deals. And we were stuck.
We
Yeah.
had that happen.
So when Heather and I started the company years ago, that was our goal, is to make sure that we had a title company in every state that could do every type of deal, right? Because we talked about it, right? Not every title company wants to do a wholesale deal, and those that'll do wholesale may not do sub 2, and they may not do
Yeah.
novation and all of these things. So we had over 400 partner title companies across the country, right? And then we're like, listen, even though we do so many transactions and people treat us better than they're going to treat you, they still suck.
Mm-hmm.
So we opened up our own title company for our clients so that it's exclusive to just them, so that I can compress time and get you paid quicker.
Like it.
The great ones, or the grey tones. I'm a new wholesaler with 2 full-time jobs. I got the second job so I could pay for marketing. My lead generation strategy is driving for dollars.
Love it.
What would you recommend to build a true cash buyer list? And I love Scott here put in that Investor Lift is free, but even for $200 in Investor Lift, supposedly you can get to go after some good buyers. Don't quote me on that. That's a good option. What do you guys think?
I love Investor Lift. It's amazing. When we really scaled up and went nationwide years ago, it was the reason why. We were actually user 11 on the system.
Yep.
So it was fantastic for us. So, as soon as you can afford something like Investor Lift, like, that's the ticket. And I know there are a bunch of copycats out there, but Investor Lift is by far the best data and analytics out there. You can go to local real estate groups. One thing that I did, because we literally bootstrapped our business, we had no money. I would just put out a little bandit sign, a little street sign, and it said, 3-2 must sell today, deeply discounted, in my phone number. Like, you will get investors that will blow up your phone. You can go into the local real estate groups on Facebook. So here's a little trick I love to do. And I built my Atlanta buyers list off of this. So I would sitting watching TV at night, and I would go into the Atlanta real estate investors group. And I would just, in the search bar, you have to do this on your desktop. In the search bar, I would put,
You guys hear Rich Wonder's car?
yeah.
That is so ridiculous.
Anyways, in the search bar @gmail.com, right? So now what's going to happen is everybody who's ever dropped their email in that group,
Yeah.
all of those are going to pop up. And I just sat there and I just copied them one after another after another. I should have been smart enough to get a $3 an hour VA to do it, but I did it over the course of a couple of nights, and I built like a 5,000 person email list. Now, they're not all going to be perfect, but if you have no money, you can literally sit at home and build that buyer's list today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Scott W., can your state agent license work in any state, as in you can refer in any state?
You can refer in any state. You can't work in any state. You got to get a real estate license for each state individually, right? As a broker,
But yeah, you can refer.
Yeah,
Yes,
you can
if you have a
refer. You get a
license
referral
in
fee.
Arizona and you refer a deal in Louisiana, you get a referral fee.
Yeah. When we do that, we get 30% off of whatever the commission
Yeah.
is. So
Which is great to have, right? Because you
Yeah.
get all these leads, and sometimes you can do something with it, sometimes you just can't.
What is it, like a Hellcat he
The
has out there?
Hellcat.
I opened the door because it's beautiful here in Phoenix to the studio, and Rich comes in and some huh? Track Hawk? I don't know. It sounds
I thought he said Hellcat.
ridiculous.
I thought that was what he said.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can do that and receive that. That's the advantage of having your license for sure. Yep. If you're not licensed, what makes you doing innovation different than acting as an agent to a seller at that state? First of all, you don't list the property yourself.
you can.
You hire an agent. You put the property under contract yourself as the buyer. Novation means to replace. To replace. So you're going to go out and find another buyer to replace your contract, and the seller is going to close with that specific buyer.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
replacement of contract. Yeah, it's no different than being an executor of an estate. You are just acting on behalf of that seller. That's all.
That's right.
Yeah. To clarify that, you don't need a license to do
Right.
novation deals.
Correct.
You're having somebody else list the property for you. Even if you had a license, you can't list it.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody else do it.
Yeah, you don't want to be a principal in the party and be the listing agent. It's
Yep.
dangerous.
Average cost per transaction for transaction coordination?
For us, if you're on a subscription plan, you're doing like $400. You got to be on a
That's
subscription
ridiculous.
plan. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there are other groups out there, $1,000 to $2,500 per transaction.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we do it at a very high level. Our team is very experienced. They're all in office. I mean, this is just all that they do. All day long.
What do you see? Are you seeing any other transactions that like all of a sudden Novations came out of nowhere
Yeah.
like 4 years,
Yeah.
3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
And then, obviously wholesaling and
Mhm.
assignments popped up about
Sure.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so like, what are you seeing anything
Yeah.
new that's coming around?
We're in installment method. We're seeing some of those.
Okay.
Yeah, that came out of South Carolina.
Right.
That's a way where basically you're going on title with owner financing for a short
Sure.
period of time to take title, and then you can sell it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest new one, I think.
Cool. That's it.
That's it. Wholesaling still works.
Sub twos, are you seeing more or less?
Definitely more.
More.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely more.
Are they selling to investors? Are they selling to, are the
Yeah.
people locking them up, keeping them, or are they wholesaling them?
A lot of our clients are wholesalers.
Yeah.
Right? So when I say, we do some buy and holds and stuff, it's, Raphael's our client, he's wholesaling and pulling them in, to hold some stuff. So yeah.
A lot of our clients-
Cherry picking.
a lot of our clients
Yeah. I would.
A lot of them keep them.
Yeah.
Keep them in their portfolio. Awesome. And you're seeing good rates on them? Like the interest rates that are on the notes?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I looked at one and
Got it.
That's not something we don't really see that. That's
Right.
not, we have a contract. We're getting it closed, getting them title insurance.
Nice.
Mhm.
Is there anything that you have to add to a purchase agreement to do a sub two? Is there any other, like we went through the
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
documents that you need for novation. What about sub two?
When I was heavily investing and doing a lot, it was a different contract. You can use the same contract. At the bottom, you can say, buyer is going to take the property subject to and make the payments, but you're going to want some more disclosures, right? I had like a 3-page disclosure where they would initial, I'm not on drugs, I'm acting in
So
my
you
own
got-
best interest, I'm all of that.
Purchase agreement.
Purchase.
And in the purchase agreement, in the price,
Mhm.
where it breaks down how you're buying it.
Yeah.
Subject to existing.
Subject to the existing, so
cash to seller.
right.
blah,
I'm going
blah,
to take
blah.
over this mortgage of approximately, always want to use approximately, right? So
Mhm.
$177,500 cash at closing to the seller. Cash, maybe there's a line where you're going to make payments to them, right? You're going to finance part of it. You're going to give them $500 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely want some disclosures in there
Come on in, Rich.
that that the seller understands what's happening.
Yeah.
That is the thing that we've seen.
And disclose. So two is disclosures.
Yeah, you want to disclose that, hey, I'm taking this over, I'm not paying it off. You want the seller to be aware. Don't try to be.
Is there anything that is there an example of disclosure somewhere that you really like?
Yeah.
That
I'll
people
tell you
could-
what, if you guys follow me on Instagram and send me a message, with your email, I'll get it for you. I'll give you the one that I use.
And your Instagram is?
David Olds REI.
I don't know why I went there.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
David
Olds REI
Olds.
on Instagram. Yeah.
For
Okay.
dramatic effects.
Yeah. And you'll get the disclosures
Yeah.
from David. There you go. Okay. So we got that. And then anything else
That's it.
paperwork wise?
That's it. You're going to want to get online access to their account. You definitely want that. That was a mistake that I made early on. One of the third or fourth sub 2 deal I bought in Chattanooga. They said, we don't have access to Wells Fargo. Okay, so we got a copy of the bank statement. And okay, great. Well, we messed up. Let's say we closed in May, right? I had April statement.
Yeah.
It was April by the time we got to close. Anyways, they didn't make the in-between payment, and we never knew. So every month, this is 13 years ago, every month I
There we
am,
go.
I was going to, to money order this money over to Wells Fargo because we didn't have access. And all of a sudden, one day, my tenant called me. It was March 5th of 2010. I remember this. Like, hey, someone came to the house and put a notice on the door. They foreclosed on it because we didn't have online access. We weren't getting the mail. We just did everything we could to screw it up, right?
Yeah.
And we lost the property because of that.
No servicing company?
No.
What about insurance?
Yeah, insurance. You're going to have to add yourself to the insurance policy.
Do you have to get another?
I had to replace it. We always just went to an investor-friendly agent and had them, send in a new policy and wipe out the old one.
Does the seller sign anything about insurance?
We leave them on there as additionally insured.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they have to sign something?
Yeah.
There you go. How many sub-twos are you seeing?
I think they're probably I think we got about 8%
8% of 7,200?
Yeah.
So just quick math there. It's like
700,
600 of them,
650 or so.
right? What's the math? Huh?
She's real time live fact.
What is it? 576.
There you go.
Boom. Round up. I'm on it today.
Yeah.
I got like 7 hours of sleep. I am locked in, bro. Like good sleep. Like
Yeah.
nice cold 65-degree
beautiful.
sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Cuddle in the blankets type of stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Science. All right. Well, good.
Cool.
Thanks, David.
You bet, man.
You're the best. Good to see
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Guys, check it out. EasyREIClosings.com. EasyREIClosings.com. We're going to bring Rich here in just a second. Speaking of Rich, I've collaborated with Rich Dad. I am the Rich Dad real estate coach. We've got a training this Saturday. If you go to richdadandbrent.com, richdadandbrent.com, come hang out with me. It's going to be an hour, 90 minutes. It's absolutely phenomenal training that we put together. Check it out. We're doing amazing things with Rich Dad. Just met with Kiyosaki on Monday, and it's just phenomenal. We got some really, really, really cool things cooked up for that community with some events here in Phoenix in my office, which is going to be really something different for that brand and that incredible philosophy, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So guys, check that out. It's completely free, richdadandbrent.com. Come hang out with me on Saturday. If you're watching this months from now, you can go there. There'll be a replay of it at Rich Dad and Brent and check it out. So there you go. Without further ado, we need to get some theme music, Rich. You know what I'm saying? We need to get some WWE straight up,
We need a walkout song
glass
there.
breaking, just a lot of energy coming in. Guys, welcome to the show, Rich Wonders. Here he is, back again. The Novation King. Yes, awesome.
Great to see you.
Welcome. There you go. So 2024,
Yes.
how did it shake out? More deals or less deals than 2023?
2024 was the best year of my life.
Okay.
Hands down.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's how you always want it to be,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was amazing, man.
Yep.
We learned a lot of lessons. Lots of novations done.
Yes.
Towards the end, we were starting to do more and more wholesale as that opportunity seemed to kind of open up and the market seemed to shift.
Why did that open up? What did you see?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if we were just looking for them, but like we were marketing off market and we were just getting them sold. We were like, hey, let's see if we can do something with this and we'll novate it if it doesn't work out. But I mean, I really try to wholesale everything I can, but we still end up novating more than half of them. Probably about 60, 70% of them go to novations.
Okay.
Just because it won't.
But 30 to 40 are assignments?
Our wholesale, yeah.
Wow. That's up, right?
That's up, yeah. Yeah, it was maybe 10 or 20% like in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen a big uptick in that.
Got it. Any changes, any regulations coming out, any states that are requiring certain things, and any areas that you're not going into or you're not JVing with people? See you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Off to the airport.
All right,
See you
see
later,
you,
man.
David.
Safe travels.
So South Carolina, I'm fully out. I got a deal that's about to close there. That was an installment method. We're like making a couple bucks on it, but it's been like an ordeal and a half.
Sure.
So South Carolina, I don't play in. I've got my first deal in Hawaii, and I thought you couldn't really wholesale out there, but we haven't gotten paid on it yet, but that's moving forward. But other than that, no, there hasn't really been major changes that we've noticed. South Carolina is the big one. Oregon, we don't really play in, but like Oklahoma has some laws passed and it hasn't affected our novations at all. So, we have probably 4 or 5 deals going there right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the difference between, for example, your revenue on a wholesale deal versus innovation?
The nitty gritty, Rich.
Damn, straight
Bring
for the
it.
throat.
What's crazy is there's a pretty big variance on both of them. It's kind of deal specific.
Mhm.
So we'll have some wholesale deals that, we'll squeak by and it'll be like a 10, 15 banger, but it's
Right.
not a lot of bandwidth and it's fairly easy. And we have some novations that we had high hopes for that they end up being that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we have whoppers too. I mean, most of our big whoppers have been novations or at least on market, and then we'll sell it cash. But we just had a land deal in Florida. We listed with an agent and we're making $100,000 on it for these 2 lots, like in Bradenton. So there's
Full novation or just attorney in fact that.
so we hired the agent, but
Yeah.
then the agent brought the buyer actually before they listed it. So we got that. Yeah, we
You got
got
an
it under
assignment on it?
contract. Oh, we're gonna do a double close.
Double close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what was your commission on a Kirby vacuum on average?
Man, I'm
That's an
trying to
amazing
remember
story, bro.
now, dude. I want to say if I sold it for full price, I want to say I made maybe like $800 or something. like
$800.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's 800 into 100,000? So we know how many Kirby vacuums you're closing
you just sold
on
in
one
Florida.
conversation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It would take a lot of Kirby vacuums.
What does that do to your brain? Did it take a while for you to adjust to like the big numbers and the big income and all that?
It's so wild. And I look back now and I just wish I would have opened up my mind sooner.
Sure.
Like I totally
But I
was
feel
in
like
my own way.
Unless you're in a different environment and
So
unless
true.
you see once you cross that bridge from faith to fact, once it becomes a fact, how can you? Unless you're
Yeah.
around people that you see doing it all the time, that you see the proof of concept. But if you've never seen it, like I never knew anybody. I was talking about I almost pooped my pants when I closed a $42,000 deal. Like,
Yeah.
but I never knew anybody that had closed this big of a deal. I've been in real estate a long time and there was commissions and that was fine. But like on this house that was, just this ugly rundown beat up house, like
Yeah.
it like broke my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And that's why too, like with regulations changing, like I'm telling my guys and basically anyone that'll listen, like now's the time to scale and to really go all in. Cause the opportunity is so good. It's like, makes me scared that it could go away. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm like, dude, what would you replace this with? You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy.
That will always be there
Yeah.
in real estate. Seriously. The only thing that you can fundamentally count on in real estate is our ability to find great deals.
Right.
The exit strategies will adjust and get and shrink or expand, just depending on regulations or just kind of the economic climate. But finding great deals, you
for
build
sure.
the skill of finding great deals, you will win in every market. And that's the problem I had as a real estate agent, because real estate agents get crushed in markets like this, where we were selling 150,000 homes, 180,000 homes a year in Phoenix to 80% of that, 70% of that. You know what I mean? Like it was the slowest year last year, I think, ever in amount of sales, which just crushes. So you have to put yourself in the driver's seat and create your own inventory. Truly. If there's any real estate agents out here and you don't know how to go out there and find off-market deals, you need to build the skill now, or it's one, you're gonna just repeat the same year over and over and over. And Tom Kroll said, that's where burnout comes. Burnout doesn't come from hard work. Burnout comes from living the same
Hard work and
year
no results.
the same results, not being
Yeah.
stagnant, being just that pool of water.
Yeah,
You know what I
same.
mean? It's just, the mosquitoes larvae starting
You can
to
smell
collect. You know what I mean? Like that's when you get burnout. But finding great deals, that's always there. The exit strategies will change. But I think from an innovation standpoint, maybe there's just more disclosures.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some regulations with it, but as long as you have a good pipeline and good skills of finding great deals, you're set.
Yeah. It's a need that will always be there.
100%.
And the way to solve it may change some.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree.
Give us we have a few people on the live, or a couple hundred people, I guess, total. And give us a breakdown. Somebody's tapping into it. They're just walking into, the concept of novations. Give us maybe the 5 pointers or a little rundown of what they should be looking for, looking at, and how to kind of structure that deal on the way in.
Okay, perfect. So the most important thing for innovation is you need to start with a motivated seller.
Yep.
Someone that wants to sell, needs to sell, and has problems to solve.
Find the lead, right?
Yeah. So the motivation, because when it comes to innovations, the location matters a lot less than it does in wholesale, because we have, more buyers involved. The condition, I mean, we make fat rips on horrible looking houses. We have one that's on the market now for 1.7 million, and we've done quite a few $1 million plus properties. So
Can these get conventional financing, or are these cash?
Absolutely.
They can.
So
If they have to go cash, do you just assign?
it depends on the buyer. So if it's a retail buyer, normally an assignment will throw them off.
Well, that's what I mean. If it's a cash purchase, you're just assigning it, right? Because there's no conventional loan and anybody that's screwing around with
if
it.
it's an investor, and the buyer's agent will play ball, but
Right.
sometimes they're scared of that. But yeah, like with an investor, yeah, we'll do an assignment or a double close.
Right.
So, I mean, the big thing with novations is you can sell properties on the market to buyers with loans. It unlocks small towns and smaller, less populated places, high price point stuff where it's livable, but not necessarily decked out to the nines. And it unlocks this big spectrum of properties where normally to wholesale it'd be very difficult. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
What's the next thing after that? So you find the seller, you're talking, having the seller conversation, and what are your points?
So with the seller, the best results we've gotten is from a consultative approach. So you need a softer touch because they have to like you and they have to trust you. And you're basically inviting them to go on this 2-month journey with you. Now, the whole sales process, you have to treat it like a cash sale. Besides those caveats, like you can't go out guns a-blazing pitching novation.
Yeah.
You have to eliminate, they have to understand that they're looking for a solution that doesn't exist, where normally they're trying to sell it for close to retail and get a cash offer experience. So you have to shut that door and set the expectations on what a real cash offer looks like. And then we pitch the novation with some momentum, with basically as the perfect solution. So once that one door closes, we open up the other door, and then we just close with action.
Got it. Brent, I don't know if you have any other questions, but I got a few, if you don't mind.
I have one real quick question. Not even a question, just a comment. It's a beautiful day, so I opened up the studio doors, and here you come in. I'm like, who is this asshole with this car? And I was like, it keeps getting closer. What is happening? And then it's like, oh, look at this guy.
Yeah,
What
man.
is that thing?
Bring in the thunder.
What is that
Dude.
thing?
So I just got a Hellcat Durango, and I modded it all out. It's over 1,000 horsepower. It's like a dream car. It's super fun, bro.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
What does that cost?
I mean, I
All
put well
done.
over 6 figures into it. I'm probably at about 130, 140,000 altogether.
How's that feel?
Dude, it feels amazing, bro.
What's the worst car you've ever driven?
Oh man, there's many of them. I had an old Prius with peeling paint that I drove around for a long time when I first started wholesale.
It's
I
like
had
a
one
rite
of
of
those.
passage.
I mean,
I had one of
I've had some Nissans, some Toyotas, and here's the thing: I never thought I was a car guy. Like that wasn't something I really aspired to, right? But I am now. Now I've been bit by the bug, and I don't know, man. It just feels so good to just have choices.
Yeah.
And say, hey, if I could have any car, what car do I want? You know what I mean? So it's amazing. Like, and I'll just sit there sometimes driving and just like, just enjoying it. So it's been a fun ride, man.
Nice. So I don't know, about maybe 6 months ago, or maybe a little longer, I'm not sure, but you came by the office and I was asking you, right, about novations, and you gave us your time on that. I appreciate that so much. And you sat down and I asked you about the seller conversation, how that would go.
Yeah,
bro, he sat down and gave us the entire, like the way that he structures and he eases into that conversation. It's freaking masterful. The way that you pitch it.
It is.
It's
next level.
So good. So good. I'm not going to ask you to go through the entire thing.
Well,
but if we can, I don't know, get a preview of that, or like a little summary of what that sounds like. I mean, I think it'd be amazing to to just showcase some of that. Yeah.
So I'll give you the overview. We break it down into three different phases, we'll call it. So phase one is the discovery phase. So the purpose of that is just to gather as much information about the seller, their situation, their hopes and dreams, their fears, their anxiety, and all the property condition as much as we can. So we have a really good idea on what's going on with the house. And that also opens up some doors in negotiation. The more information we have, the more variables we can control, right? So no pushback, no negotiation in this phase. We're just trying to be empathetic, good listeners, and consult them to really try to understand their situation.
No pushback.
We talked about it earlier today, Rich. We talked about the current state versus the desired state, or Hell Island versus Heaven Island, and the discovery is where the money's made.
Yes.
This is where we decide: is this a cash as is? Should they just have a retail agent? Should they do innovation, or should we go creative? And we don't know that until we really do the discovery. Yes. And the discovery doesn't happen if we're telling them how great our service is and how many deals we do and how fast we can do all these things. They don't care. What they want to do is they want to tell us what's going on, or at least we need to discover what's going on. It's like going to the doctor and you're like, oh, my foot hurts. And he's like, well, we got to take that leg off like now. You know what I mean? Like, they don't do that. There's going to be discovery in this. It's the same thing with our business. And the better you are at discovery, this is why you're the master. This is how you put together the plan. Because you're not going to put together a plan that isn't the best for the seller. That's before I rudely interrupted you, Raph, was what I meant. In your presentation, it is all about what the seller's goal is. It's all about that. And if it's not going to fit into innovation, you're not going to go into this whole thing where you pitch the whole innovation, right?
Right. Yeah, you have to understand them to be able to serve them and get them to their goal. Yeah, I love that analogy. Mm-hmm. So once we understand their situation, now we basically, in Brent's analogy, have to close this gap, right? So we have to, they have a solution that they think is the solution, which is a cash offer normally. But we have to kind of reconcile that with the reality of the situation where, hey, look, this is where cash buyers are buying. This is how much they're buying for. This is what they're selling for. And then they have to come to the realization that they're not going to fit in that box the way that they were hoping for.
Right.
So we kind of have to eliminate that option, because otherwise what happens is they're just going to bounce from person to person until they come to that conclusion on their own, right? Or they're going to get locked up. They're not going to be able to perform. So we kind of look at it as a duty to be able to get through to them, because we know if we don't, someone else will eventually, right? And we're already going to be out of the picture.
Once you identify that, how do you ease that into that conversation with them?
So we first set the stage by explaining how we evaluate properties. So we let them know we're looking at recent sales. We're looking at ones that are within a close percentage of the square footage, the year built, trying to compare apples to apples. So basically, I call it like building your fortress, where before you start naming off the comps, you have to explain why they're legitimate, so that you don't get into a back and forth in an argument with them.
I hope you guys are taking notes on this.
But yeah, and normally I can do them on the fly, but for a newer person, it's a good idea to have those cash comps ready to go before you get on the phone, so that it can be a seamless thing. And basically we just present them the information and let them see what the reality of what a cash offer looks like. But we're not making any offers in this stage. We're just presenting the information, and then we do what's called a tentative low range, where we basically give ourselves a little buffer where we say, hey, look, I'm not the final decision maker, but from what I'm seeing in this area in the data, it looks like investors are looking to spend, pay somewhere between X and Y for properties in this area. And then that way too, we're not just saying, hey, this is what I could pay, where they're like, okay, scratch him off the list. Let's go to the next investor. We're saying, hey, look, this is the reality of what everybody's looking at. Right. And then basically we leave the tension there.
Discovery.
And then we call this the anchor phase. So we use the low market data to anchor them. And the idea is we want them to try to negotiate up from the low anchors
Sure.
rather than us negotiating down
Down
from the
from-
asking
For your
price.
maximum level offer or something like that.
Correct. Because even if you get them 10,000 down from the asking price, if you're using that as the frame point, they feel like they're losing and you're still in a position where you can't even do the deal.
Yeah.
But if you anchor low and you anchor hard where it's, you really build your fortress first, then anything they fight up from that is a win, basically. And they got over on you, basically.
Right.
So we don't make any offers on the anchor call ever. We leave them waiting for a final decision. And it's basically, hey, we really hope we can get this approved. Not, I hope we can get to your number. Not, hey, I'm going to knock your socks off. I'll be right back with this offer. There's a tension there. And that really helps with the conversion. Because a confused mind says no, and the tension gives them time to sell themselves in their head, and the offer means more when we finally deliver. Because when we deliver it, it's with absolute certainty that, hey, I'm excited we got this qualified, and that's the delivery phase. So that's always a separate call. Sometimes these calls go together. If the
How long
seller's
are these
motivated.
calls?
I would say on average, a discovery is going to be anywhere from maybe 10, 15 minutes up to maybe 30, 40 minutes. The seller's got a lot to say. Normally, really anything over that can turn unproductive.
Sure.
You know what I mean? For the most part. Anchor call, maybe 20 to 40 minutes, kind of depending on what's going on. And then the delivery calls, maybe 20 minutes. Like the delivery calls, essentially a monologue. It's like a scripted thing where there's very little variance. And that's one way that we've been able to get consistent results.
Is that novationjv.com? Is that
Yes.
still, that works?
That's where people can go and submit their motivated seller leads. And my team reaches out and we negotiate, lock them up, get them sold, and they get 40% just for sending in the lead and connecting us with the seller. Yeah.
Nice. How many people are doing that?
Man, we paid out over $3 million last year to our JV
Awesome.
partners.
Awesome.
So dude, we have people that have made multiple six figures just from sending in deals. They never spent $1 on the deals. They never locked up a contract. They just shot them our way. So yeah, it gives me great joy to see the JV partners making money and see my guys making money. It's really been a win-win. So
Awesome.
What do you guys have any criteria before they submit something like that?
I mean, the main thing we tell them is, if you got a motivated seller that you're currently talking to, and when you call, there's a good chance they'll pick up. That's someone that we want to talk to.
Okay.
As long as it's not on market, it's not like a burnt down cabin in the middle of the forest. Like if there's any opportunity, it's worth pursuing. Because like we've had some ugly ones too that I was like, dude, I don't think this is going to be a deal. Just make this call. Let's see what happens. Ends up being a banger.
Mhm.
So we try not to prejudge it. I talk to my guys about that a lot too. It's like, hey, until you've like kind of searched the room and looked under the bed and in between the couch cushions and everything, like you want to get to a point on every call where you say, hey, look, I know for certain there's no deal here. It's just not a match. Or, hey, there may still be a deal here, but I pushed this as far as I can go right now. And there's some things that need to happen or I need to let it cool down, or you get the deal. Like you don't ever want a motivated seller. You're like, dang, I know they're motivated. I know they want to sell, but I just never connected and got through to them. And they put up that wall and now they're ghosting me or whatever. So we try to stay in the game and keep the conversation open. And I use the analogy with my guys of like, it's the difference between having like a sophisticated debate where you're discussing ideas and trying to make the best idea win, compared to just taking someone to the back room and just slugging it out and using force and trying to just get over that way by just throwing low balls and trying to just close hard. So we really try to take the consultative approach because you got a 60-day ride with them too once you close the deal.
Right.
So if you beat the crap out of each other before you do that, like you're going to have problems down the road. It's going to be an awkward car ride with them.
Makes sense.
I need both perspectives. Here's the problem I have with JV.
Yeah.
I go here, I submit a deal. I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything. Hey, anything happening? Did anybody see this? Are they too busy? Are they taking it seriously? Is Rich for real? Is this a real business? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's real.
Oh, for sure.
Flip side.
Yeah.
Have you even talked to this property owner? Is this a real deal? This is on the market. These are not like, there needs to be more information that I need to be able to make a decision if I can put the time and effort and resources to this deal.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate it for both sides? Like if somebody submits here, do they actually get a response, or is it only a response if it's a good deal?
No. So I'm not going to say that that's never happened, right? Because as we've scaled, yes, there have been things that slip through the cracks, and, you know, I'll get a message on Instagram. Hey, Rich, I submitted a deal 2 days ago. Is anyone going to reach out? But with my guys, like, our protocol is we need to get to these leads as soon as possible. And I tell them, I'm like, look, you don't know this JV partner. This could be the deal that's going to save them from losing their house.
Right.
This could be the deal that's going to stop them from having to go put in job applications. I'm like, you need to treat these like gold, because people have fought tooth and nail for these leads. They've either spent their hard-earned money, they've been suffering, you know, getting the leads another way. So I really try to stay on top of that. And if anybody ever has submitted a deal and they don't hear from me, send me a message on IG.
Yeah.
Because I do care and I do want to know.
What's your IG?
Novation King.
Novation King. And by the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast, the website to submit the deals to is novationjv.com. Novationjv.com, right? Just
yes, sir.
Simple like that?
Yep.
Okay. So you can check that out. And IG is Novation King. Absolutely incredible.
And then on the flip side, for the other question of like, well, how do you manage all the deals that people send? Because, you know, normally you think, hey, a JV deal, these are normally the ones that someone's like, oh man, there's nothing left to do with this. Hey, what I got to lose? Let's send it in, right?
Yep.
But it's crazy because we've had so many JV partners that initially sent a deal that was way off base, where it's like, whoa, no way, this is going down. Like, what's going on here? But I tell my guys, I'm like, look, this is an opportunity to bridge the gap, right? Where it's like, hey, sit down and have a thoughtful conversation and give them some value of like, hey, this is why this may not work. These are the type of things that we're looking for. This is what you can do in the future. And some of those people have become some of our best JV partners. So it really just comes down to just being patient and then continue with the messaging of like meeting people where they are and try to bring them to where we need to be for it to be profitable. Because people aren't purposely like, hey, dude, I'm trying to waste your time, obviously, right? They're doing the best they can. But the more you can empower them, then it's just better for everybody.
Most of the deals, smaller markets?
Yeah, probably about 70% of them are like less than.
Do you think it would be smart to target smaller markets that are much less for PPL, direct mail, PPC, get these leads in?
I'm doing exactly
bring them to
that.
you.
Yeah. Yes. And the cool thing with PPC
turn
and
them
PPL,
over, make 40%.
these are the cheapest leads to get too. Like
Well,
I'm running
outskirts.
I started
Not
running
in town, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Outskirts. I'm saying out of the PPC ones, the small town ones are the cheapest out of that bucket, right? So yeah, dude, I've got JV partners that have started campaigns just to send us deals. And I started running my own campaigns about 6 months ago as well. And that's what I target. It's just full nationwide. I get them cheap. You know, we go through leads to find the good ones, but that's the name of the game, you know? So absolutely.
Are you doing PPL or PPC?
I'm doing both.
Got it.
Yeah, I have probably about 6 different paid lead sources right now.
Okay.
So I've been split testing a bunch of them and just turning up the ones that we're doing good at.
Nice.
So,
Well, when you want the best PPC leads,
dude, I need
talk
to
to
holler
me.
at you, bro.
Talk to me.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I'll
all
show you
about
that
leads.
crew back there.
I saw the guy with the PPC King, I think it was, license plate.
That's
Was that?
right.
Yeah.
That's Nate.
We need to
He's
link
a
up.
genius. We'll talk
Cool.
after this.
Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, no real questions for you. So absolutely crushing. More or less novations this year, 2025 than
Oh, more of
2024.
everything. More of everything. Way more novations. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Rich, thanks for coming in.
Sweet. Thanks for
Family's
having me,
good?
man. Yeah.
High rise
everyone's
is good?
great. Beautiful. Homeschooling.
Got 1,000 horsepower monster out there.
Do you park that in your high-rise living room?
I wish, dude. That's
They bring
gonna-
it up.
the next place, maybe. We'll work
Do you
on
Bring it
that.
up in an elevator
for your
shaft?
1,000 horsepower vehicle?
That's awesome.
I need to step my game up.
Well, awesome.
Come
Well,
on, bro, you're sleeping.
let's push this camera here in the middle. Everybody come on. Alejandro, Matt, Luke, the whole team. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. The show obviously doesn't happen without incredible participation. If you guys are coming every single week, we love you so much. Thank you so much. I want you to know that we recognize you. You're absolutely incredible. But make sure you go out and get some deals. Do some deals. On behalf of Matt and Alejandra and Luke and Rich and Raphael and myself, we love you. Take massive imperfect action this week. Remember this, keep your house clean, protect your health, and increase your value to the world. You'll live a fantastic life. Check out richdadandbrent.com for our training this week. We'll see you next week or this weekend. Love you. Bye.